Hi guys, so I'm back with another video, and this is an infill. This set was about 3 weeks old, I think, and I'm so proud of myself that I'm getting to where my clients' nails have minimum lifting. So yay for progress. I'm just removing the design and seeing where there's some lifting, and remove that. But as you can see, there's almost nothing there. So I'm just removing the design, and then we're going to go ahead to prepping the nail to start the application. Here I'm just making it a bit shorter and fixing the shape before I go in with acrylic. Although that's not really necessary to fix the shape beforehand, but that's just a little extra step I do. I'm already there, so you can fix it a little. So now I'm going in with a cuticle pusher, and if you see, I go in from the sides and not from the top, because that way you can push it back easier without hurting your client. If you go in from the middle, it's not going to move as easily if your client has a lot of cuticle stuck to the nail plate. So my first step is I go in with a ball bit and I work in reverse, and I'm pushing it back. You can see I pull the skin back with my thumb also to get a better grip. And then I'm going to come in with another bit and clean it up nicely. You guys are going to see that in a minute. Now I'm going in with this other round bit. I promise you I don't know the name. I've looked it up and it says round bit, so I don't know. But you can see that it cleans up the nail so perfectly. It lifts up the cuticle, so it exposes it, so when you're going to cut it, you can clearly see where you need to cut. So that's why I love this bit so much, honestly. And after that, I'm going to cut the cuticle, and I use these scissors that are like nippers, so it's very easy to use. Like I said before, it's perfect for beginners. So I would suggest you guys buy this, even if you're not a beginner. It's so easy to work with. I mean, I will never use anything else. So after I cut the cuticle, I go in again with the round bit to just clean off the cuticle. It's also a bit that you can use to exfoliate the skin around the nail plate so everything is smooth. And after that, I go in with my sanding band and etch the nail and remove anything that might be left on the nail plate. So um, this really helps with um, minimizing lifting. So don't skip this step, guys. Of course, I suppose y'all know that, but I just have to say it again for the ones in the back, okay? So after I dehydrate the nail plate, I go in with the bonder from Young Nails, and then I'm starting my application. And I have a thing, I don't know if you guys have this also, but when I'm doing infills, if I just fill in the top part, I feel like when I'm going to file, it separates from the old acrylic, and I don't like that. So that's the reason why I go in with a thin bead on top of the whole nail and then fill in the outgrown part. But with this particular set also, I noticed that the sides were very thin, and so I had to apply new acrylic on it. Otherwise, when I go in to file, the nail is going to break. So, someone asked in the comments before about not getting acrylic gunked up into your brush, and this is the way that I make sure that I don't. What you want to look for is bead consistency, and you see I wait like a few seconds for the bead to set a little bit, because if it's too wet, too runny, and you go in with your brush is going to stick to the acrylic or vice versa, and then you're gonna have to wipe it off um, to get it off. So you just want to wait for like a medium consistency where it's not too dry or too runny, and make sure you keep your brush a little bit wet. You can see when I wet it, I dab it onto the paper as well so it's not too wet um, when I touch the acrylic on the nail, because otherwise you're going to put all of the monomer into the bead and that's going to make it runny again, and you don't want that. You just want your brush wet enough to where the acrylic is not going to stick to it, but not too wet that it's going to make the acrylic runny. So I hope I explained that a little bit so you guys can understand. Basically, all you do is wet your acrylic and wipe it off every time, um, and wait for the bead consistency to become a bit um, of a medium consistency like this one. It's not too dry, but it's not too runny either. So that's what you want to see with your bead. It has to be like shiny like this. I don't know how else to explain it, but with practice, you're going to get it down, because I used to get my brush gunked up as well in the beginning, and I know it's so frustrating, but just keep practicing, and room temperature is also important. I usually like my room to be at a 19 to 20 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, Celsius. So the temperature of your room is important because it's decisive for how your acrylic is going to move. Meaning that if your room is too hot, or you live in a country where it's really hot, your acrylic is going to set really fast because it affects the monomer, and in turn it, it affects the setting of the acrylic. But if you live in a country that's really cold, like where I live in the Netherlands, then you have to put your room temperature up to 19 to 20 degrees, so you get like a medium setting speed, and that helps with not having a very runny bead. But if you don't want to put up the heating, of course you can add like 5 drops of acetone into your acrylic. This also helps with the setting speed, and it helps the bead to not be so runny. So just test it out, try it out with your monomer to see how much acetone you can put into it so it doesn't get too dry. Yeah, so that's a little tip that I've learned from other nail techs, and I think it's very useful because sometimes when I start doing nails, my room is not heated yet, so it's still cold, but I have to do my client's nails. So then I just add a few drops of acetone into my monomer and I start applying, and it works perfectly. I haven't had any issues with it, so I can attest to it when I tell you guys that you can do it too. You just need to figure out the right ratio for your monomer. Um, but that of course comes with practice and testing. After filing, shaping, buffing, and cleaning the nail, I'm going to start with the nail art, and I just applied the matte top coat and cured it in the lamp for 60 seconds. And now I'm going in to do a French nail, and I'm starting with the V shape. As you guys know, I find this the easiest way to do my French. And after I do the V shape, then I connect the two with a C curve. So you're going to see that in a bit. And that's how I do all of my Frenchies. So I'm going to let you guys watch that. Now I'm just top coating all of the nails except for the pointer fingers where I'm going to apply the rhinestones, but honestly I just could have waited to do this at the end. I don't know, I just had like a brain fart in that moment and I just kept going. So you can skip this and just do it at the end after you apply the crystals, because I still have to top coat that finger. So yeah, just skip this and do it at the end. This set was actually inspired by a set that I saw years ago or months ago. I don't even know. But I think it was by Sydney Alexis on YouTube. And it was so cute. And I think she did it exactly like this, but the nails were longer, I believe. But I really like the way she applied the rhinestones, and it's a mix of them. And actually, you see this now a lot on Instagram. All the girlies do this type of placement. So I was really loving this. I don't know. It's so simple. Like the nails are just Frenchies, but you add a little pizzazz with rhinestones like these. So um, if you haven't tried it yet, you should, because it's so pretty in real life. The camera doesn't even pick up all of the colors, but it's really pretty. So after I'm done applying the crystals, the rhinestones, the pearls, I just go in with my top coat and let it cure into the lamp. After that, as you guys know, I always file the nails again. Just make sure you keep the file straight so you don't fall into the gel polish. After that, I just dust it off, apply cuticle oil, and this is the end result, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. See you later.